SeatStory Cup. We are about to see ek0p take on Amaz in this decider match in the top 8. I'm That's Admirable, joined by Jackie Chan and VLPS. Jackie Chan, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I actually got knocked out by ek0p yesterday, so I'd like to see him go on and win it.
Yeah, a little bit of favoritism there. VLPS, how have you been?
I've been great. A little sad it's the last day of competition, but excited to see how this top 8 pans out.
Yeah, it's been 3 long days of play. These guys have been battling a lot of matches, and today we're going to find out who becomes a champion. Before we get into our match, we do want to remind you guys that it is a very short time closing in on the promo for Need for Seat. You can head over to the website right now, needforseat.com. From there, you're going to click right here, European Union. Open up these chairs. And this one seems to be the most common one. I think a lot of people are satisfied in these. We've been using them all weekend long while we're gaming. And once you add a chair to your shopping cart, it doesn't have to be this one, but it could be any of them, but this is a very common one. You're going to add a shopping cart, and there you're going to have an option to enter a promo code. You use the promo code #SSC, and that's going to enter you for a chance to win a hoodie signed by all of the players here in attendance. There's a lot of hoodies to give away as well, but remember, it's for a very limited time. So head over to the website right now and get your chance to win. So now, on to the match, ek0p versus Amaz. ek0p's Shaman has been banned away, and ek0p has banned away Amaz's Warrior build. So Druid, Priest, Rogue, and Warrior for ek0p, taking on Amaz's Druid, Rogue, Shaman, and Warlock.
Yeah, and we don't know the archetype of ek0p's Druid yet. It's his new deck, the 5th deck that's added because it's now best of 7. It could be the Coon Druid, could be Jade Druid, I'm not sure yet, so we'll be interesting to see what that is.
Yeah, and VLPS, it looks like Amaz's new deck is the Rogue build.
Yeah, and I'm assuming, Amaz is going to be going with the questing list that's been so popularized and has had a lot of success at this tournament, so we'll see what the Amaz Rogue build is. I think ek0p's really going to be looking to take advantage of his Pirate Warrior. It's a very aggressive build that should fare well against a lot of Amaz's decks, and Amaz wants to try to beat that deck with his Shaman deck. So we're going to be seeing Amaz save that Shaman for that Pirate Warrior.
Yeah, very likely. So it's going to be kicking off with ek0p, who's very apparently playing Jade Druid.
Yeah, and we see both their new decks straight in here.
Yeah,
Amaz's Rogue and ek0p's Jade Druid, so instantly we know the archetypes.
Yeah.
And,
Historically, a matchup that does not fare very well for the Druid. Just a lot of tempo plays on the Rogue side.
Ooh, double Jade Behemoth now at this point, too. That is a slow hand for
Yeah.
ek0p.
It takes a little bit too much time to get those Jades going with these. Whereas on the Amaz's side, you see the 2 Pirates already, the SI to follow up. Really nice starting hand from Amaz.
Yeah, and I think he's going to get some good information here, too, when ek0p doesn't use a Living Roots or a Wrath or a Wild Growth here on turn 2. It's likely to be a little bit slow. And so for Amaz, I look at this hand and the way it's structured, and I'm curious how willing he is to get going in these next couple turns. I've spoken a lot with Amnesiac about the Rogue matchup, and he says versus Druid that just getting SI7 agent out about as quickly as possible is a strong play.
Yeah. I mean, ek0p choosing to go for the hero power instead of summoning the Jade column there. Like if it's summoned the Jade column, because you're assuming he's going to use the Blossom next turn, right? He'd have a 2/2 next turn. Do you think that's a questionable decision, or do you think hero power is just...
I think it's okay. I mean, he's going to Jade into 5 mana and then have some options in front of him. So maybe looking to have the Jade. It'll be an additional thing to fill up his curve. It looks like Amaz is going to get going with a couple of swashbucklers here.
Stealing a Wrath.
I did like the Jade Idol on turn 1, just to be able to, have that Jade Blossom contest with the small-time Buccaneer, because as we look at his hand now, this Flame Imp is going to be sticking around for a lot of turns and doing a lot of damage.
Well,
but,
he drew the Jade Idol on 2.
Yeah, no, I think on 2 it would have been perfectly fine.
Okay. Yeah.
I think even on 2, though, I think it was...
Still a good play, yeah. Even off curve,
sure.
yeah.
So, I mean, Amaz is pretty happy with this Wrath, but the 5-drop, the new Beast buff card, it's probably...
Probably not going to get too much value.
Yeah. Vermin Sensei needs to target a beast, and well, there's a lot of beastly cards in Rogue, none of them quite the classification of such. So Amaz's going to take this opportunity to just get going. And honestly, that Wrath is a pretty big pickup. I think that can help him really stave off some of the plays that ek0p can have.
Yeah. Aya's pretty nice. So you're going to go with the ramp here?
I think you go with the double
couple
Jade.
of Jade Golems.
Yeah, especially with the Aya on 6. And all of a sudden, ek0p's curve looking a lot better. Definitely now starting to develop the board on his side as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's generally what Jade Druid does. You're almost always going to be falling behind. Unless you have your Innovate, you're going to be falling behind at the start and then hoping to get your Jade Druids going before it's too late.
Is Amaz here concerned with the board presence at all? Like, my instinct spots the Wrath and SI7 agent first, but Amaz is always going to dig deeper for stronger plays. I mean, if he uses these resources, he is down to sap as his removal with a couple Phantom Knives in hand. to cycle. So I'm
Yeah,
curious
I mean-
if we're ever seeing a fan of knives here and maybe some trade action.
Possibly. I mean, you do leave yourself very vulnerable to swipe if you go for the Wrath SI play. And your follow-up is just the 5-drop. It's kind of awkward.
Yeah, Swipe's going to be good against you at almost every point for the rest of this game, though.
Yeah,
It's,
that's true.
I mean, I feel like his goal is just to push as much damage as he can with Leroy in hand, knowing that there's 2 eviscerates, knowing he's got the sap. I think he's just kind of got to go for it and hope for the best here. I mean, he is forcing ek0p to have some action in this spot, and he's pushing 5 more damage this turn with 8 on board. And so if ek0p doesn't fight for the board here, that is a lot of uncontested damage.
Yeah. So is ek0p going to go with the Behemoth here or the Aya?
18 is a really peculiar number. I would imagine that the Living Roots is slated for the small-time Buccaneer here.
Yeah, it's actually a really big pickup.
I think that top deck definitely makes the move a lot easier for him to just go Behemoth with the Living Roots on the small-time Buccaneer.
Yeah, but a lot of times you want to fight for board and then stabilize, but with 2 Jade Behemoths and with quite a bit of damage on board, might be wise to go ahead and do this. But
yeah, now Amaz has to work out how he's going to deal with his Behemoth. Is he thinking about sapping this? Are you going to...
It's tough to sap them because they just drop them again and
I know. You
develop
really-
bigger Jade Golems. So.
that Living Roots was a really key pickup for
Yeah.
Amaz. Sorry, for
Yeah.
ek0p that turn. If he wasn't able to take down that Buccaneer, you might have seen some Tomb Pillager action this turn.
And the Pillager doesn't feel great because he has a 4/4 behind the taunt that just trades into it, cleanly. So definitely a peculiar turn for Amaz here.
Yeah, I mean,
If you
sap,
had if you had
sap
a
feels
cold-
terrible.
Yeah,
Tomb
if you had like
Pillager
a
feels
cold blood here, I think this turn would be
Cold Blood
okay.
would be huge. Yeah.
for sure.
So does he need to dig for cold blood?
With Fan?
I don't think he ever comes back on board. Yeah, if he doesn't develop a minion here, I don't think he ever comes back on board. And I actually like this play a lot. It doesn't allow a clean trade. And, if you play the Pillager, it just dies right away to the 4/4. So I like this play a lot by Amaz,
Yeah.
not developing the Pillager.
And here, if ek0p's going to take out this Vermin Sensei, I'd love to see the Aya Blackpaw come down as well. I mean, that's a hard minion to develop.
Yeah.
Then he can follow that up with the Jade Behemoth and really stabilize here. If he goes with the Jade Behemoth immediately, my fear is if Amaz can ever get past that or set up a key turn, maybe you didn't get enough pressure going. I feel like the Aya Blackpaw just gives you more pressure.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of swings the game around from defensive to aggressive.
Like at 14, he's fairly safe. He's dying to like Leroy, Cold Blood, Prep, Eviscerate. But
Yeah.
if your opponent had Prep, Eviscerate, they probably would have Prep, Eviscerated your Jade Golem.
Yeah, very true. Oh, he's definitely considering the Behemoth there.
Yeah, I think his life total it's more of like a sign that his life total is kind of uncomfortable to him right now.
Yeah.
But I think he should be good.
Yeah, I mean, with 6 mana on the rogue side next turn, you can't feel too scared. You have to kind of sometimes take a risk and go with the Blackpaw here.
Ooh, goes with the idol instead of taking out the 4/5. I like this.
Yeah,
This
I
is-
don't mind this either. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just extra damage.
Yeah,
And how much damage does he have coming in next turn? So he's got
he
10.
has 20 on board.
Yeah,
21.
20 on board. So any type of burn spell off the top here.
Yeah, so Amaz now has to be worried. Like, is he going to assume that ek0p has no damage in hand, or is he going to have to trade and play?
And what's Amaz's play here? I mean, I feel like he's lost complete control of the board. He has to kind of set
Face.
up 2-turn lethal himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does sap the 6/6 just to prevent anything like Living Roots from killing him. The only issue is using that 1 sap is going to make this Behemoth. Oh, that was a good draw there.
Yeah, 19 damage available for ek0p this turn, but it's looking like Jade Behemoth is enough to get it done. And honestly, with the lead that ek0p has, it's probably safe to just trade.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. There's no need to take any risks in
I think
this
it's much
position.
safer to develop the taunt.
Yeah, just go ahead and push off the Aya. Makes an 8/8 at this point. Trade off the Tomb Pillager.
Yeah, that one turn when he played the first Jade Behemoth was like so crucial. Like that's where the game just swung from in ek0p's favor. Like Jade Golem's now up to 8/8. Like it gets really out of control super quick.
Very casual 8/8.
Yeah.
And with that taunt in the way, it looks like there's no way Amaz
Yeah.
can win this now.
Yeah, even with double prep, sap, yeah, cold blood Leroy, there would be no way for lethal, no way for.
Fan of Knives are pretty awful in this matchup. You needed those to be.
And that game was
things.
interesting. So Amaz is playing SI Agent, he's playing Shiv, so it doesn't look like he's playing a standard questing list. I would say it's like a unique take on Miracle Rogue that Amaz has going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different builds.
Yeah.
You see questing from time to time. Sometimes you just see SI7 agents. I think a lot of it comes to what you expect from your opponents in certain spots and what you would expect the metagame to be. I certainly think SI7 agent has a place where you expect fairy dragons, but not so good versus for some of the matchups out there.
Yeah.
I'm curious if his early game could have been played any differently as well. I mean, we saw him use the Wrath and then the SI7 agent to get the push, and then immediately ran out of gas. Was there other ways to get past that turn? Could he have gone a little bit more aggressive, maybe with the SI7 agent on 2 instead of the Swashbucklers, and tried to open up some more damage push there? But
Yeah, fair points.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, Amaz very happy with this starting hunt, though.
And I was going with the Aggro Shaman into the Druid, so this is a matchup that is Aggro Shaman favored, but I think saving that Shaman might be a consideration for the Warrior, just to because I think that Warrior can really just do damage to Amaz's lineup.
I think that potential is just lost at this point. I mean, his
Yeah.
other options are the Kun Druid, which is really terrible against Jade
Yeah.
Druid, and then also Reno Warlock, which can struggle. And the Reno Warlock needs to be there for that Priest, I think.
Yeah,
His
it's a fair
matchups are
point.
struggling at this point.
So at this point, Amaz is kind of just saying, I'm down. I got to, do what I got to do to claw my way back into this matchup. So
I think so. Ooh, Jade Claws gets drawn. And Amaz suddenly with a plethora of options.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking a lot about Aggro Shaman yesterday, and what would you say is the best line of play here?
It's tough. It's the patches definitely is representing some serious long-term damage. So the question here is, what does he expect ek0p to follow up with? And so Wrath and Wild Growth and Hero Power are all 3 reasonable options against your board right now.
Yeah.
I feel like you can kind of strip away some of the power of Wrath by playing it a little bit slow, but at the same time, if you see Wild Growth from your opponent, is that too much? And honestly, I don't mind the Flame Tongue Totem in light of that.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Okay. Super aggressive. You're kind of forcing him to Wrath. If he's Wrathing, he's not using Wild Growth.
If he's Wild Growthing, he could be taking a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you see the Wrath come down this turn, you think maybe he doesn't have the second one for my Tunnel Trog next turn.
Yep.
So, yeah, and choosing to Wild Growth, and Amaz going to continue the damage train here.
Ooh, Black Paw is a nice pickup too. I mean, it's not helping this turn, but down the road, he's going to need some gas to push through here. So, I think there's some merit to both the Totem and the Jade Claws this turn. And I think I like the Jade Claws more, just because at this point, he's like swipe or bust. From Amaz's side, he's like, if he's got swipe, I'm probably going to lose this game. The Totem's getting isolated, losing so much.
I mean, I don't think it'd be completely over with the swipe. You don't really have a play for next turn.
And this is really interesting too. I mean, ek0p's once again got a lot of options. I think there's a lot of merit to simply Wild Growthing again. I think there's a lot of merit to using the Wrath. I think there is.
I mean, you have to deal with the Flame Tongue.
A lot less merit to charging the Druid of the Claw, but still some consideration.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to see the Wrath and the Wild Growth. And he's actually going to take out the Tunnel Trog and then Feral Rage on the Flame Tongue Totem. This is interesting.
We have a super defensive line here.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he's thinking, okay, I'm going to set up my Druid of the Claw for Taunt next turn. Let's just deal with as much as I can.
I think the Overload is really influencing this too. He knows he can't see Flame Wreath Faceless, so he's going to be free to get the Druid of the Claw down and then have Mulch for the 7/7 on the backswing.
Yeah, like the best play on turn 3 is usually like Feral Spirit for Amaz, and Druid of the Claw is amazing against Feral Spirit.
Yeah, I like Amaz thinking about, not dropping the Southeast Deckhand, but you kind of saw no swipe last turn, and I think it's safe to just drop it now and have it stick around for the following turn as well.
Yeah, I think I like him pushing as well.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to need to unlock as much damage potential as he can.
And he's kind of just trying to bridge into this turn 6 Aya. But ek0p now still has ramp, still has Mulch for things like Flame Wraith Faceless.
1/1 Jade Golem feels pretty bad in this position.
And just the Hero Power chews through so much of this Pirate stuff. And at 16, if ek0p doesn't take too much more damage, you're really comfortable. And that play will overload the Aya if he wants to get to that point. And Mulch is waiting in the wings.
You have to drop it, though. You got to think that most Druids, some don't even have Mulch. Most have one, but...
I don't know, man. I think I like the Maelstrom Portal and the Hero Power.
Really?
Because if you roll Taunt, you're going to protect your 1/1s. You're really relying on that damage to get the job done.
Yeah, are you really going to play around
You
Mulch?
roll into the Aya.
Are you really going to play around Mulch with
I think
the two cards in hand?
I'm not playing around Mulch.
Mulch.
I'm playing to get the Aya down.
Yeah.
Because you can play Aya and then follow up with the Flame Wreath. You can't play Flame Wreath and follow up
How
with the Aya.
big is the Aya, though? The Ayas are what? It's summoning a 2/2 Jade Golem, so it's not super impactful
You can
yet.
also play the Aya on 7. It's like...
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough with,
I can't argue with it.
Yeah.
I like the play still. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, that's brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, at the very least, he's not developing a Druid of the Claw alongside it, but definitely,
Whoa! That is sick versus Druid, too.
That is
Yeah.
actually insane.
So ek0p's not going to be pressuring Amaz for actually quite some time here. So when the Deathwing hits, Amaz just needs a couple points of damage for that Deathwing to represent lethal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
literally
that's
one of the
huge.
best cards against Jade Druid.
I mean, I don't know if this game goes to turn 10, but it's one of those games where, yeah, if ek0p has a turn where he goes, Druid of the Claw into Behemoth and Amaz kind of just gasses out, he has that Deathwing on 10 to kind of close the game out, really.
Jade Spirit here is looking solid.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, if it doesn't go to turn 10, I'm pretty sure Amaz will be pretty happy with that. I'm pretty sure if it doesn't go to 10, Amaz will
He's
have
winning.
closed out the game by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that mulch is that is not a jackpot.
So are you thinking about trading any of these off in case of the top deck swipe? Or are you just
No,
letting
I don't
it
think
be?
so.
Okay.
I definitely think there's some merit to it, but I think I don't know, maybe one because of the Aya.
Yeah, I don't mind trading in. So we have to look at what ek0p's going to be doing next turn. He's probably going to trade the 3/3 into... Probably trade the 2/3 into the 2/2, 3/3 into the 2/1. Okay, I mean, I don't mind the pass.
Not to trade.
Well, just
So, I mean,
draws a 4/4.
Not trading is like super beneficial if you top deck like Flameton, for
Yep.
example.
So ek0p going to mop up as much the damage as he can. It looks like. I mean, his instinct was to push the Golem into Aya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that takes out the most amount of damage
No, I
on
mean,
the
it
board.
only takes out 2, right? Because it'll be a 3/3.
Yeah. I think you definitely want to take out the small time Buccaneer, prevent the battle cry effect, or prevent the +2 attack effect.
So you think the 2/2, the 2/1, and the 1/2 seems pretty
Yeah.
good? Yeah, I like that.
that was my initial instinct.
And you're expecting the Aya to go into the Druid of the Claw, so you take 2 on the Druid of the Claw.
Hmm.
Does that open you to Jade Lightning at all?
Yeah, or do you play around Jade Lightning? We haven't seen either one this game. Maybe that's a consideration as well.
The other thing to consider is he hasn't seen the mulch minion from Amaz's hand yet. So I mean, it's a possibility. It's just something really big.
Yeah, it hasn't been played yet, so it's definitely...
It wasn't like he dropped like a like a bluegill warrior or something and said go. It's
I mean, you'd probably expect to see it next turn, right? Because whatever minion it was, it probably wasn't going to be better
right.
than
So when he
Aya.
doesn't see it next turn.
Yeah, I think next turn will be the big when ek0p realizes, oh, wow.
Well, that could very easily have changed it. And this will overload him on 9, which will
Yeah.
bring him straight into
Yeah,
the
that's
Deathwing
actually a
afterwards.
huge pickup. Like, he was almost running out of pressure. This just continues to just...
Yeah, this is definitely huge for him, and it allows him to set up for lethal over... So let's see here. So we've got 4...
A lot of damage.
Yeah, not exactly lethal yet, but we haven't seen either Jade Lightning, we haven't seen Lava Burst yet, we haven't seen Lightning Bolts yet, so...
Yeah, everyone says that these are 3 mana and 6 mana, but I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger.
Oh,
today.
and that is a terrible pickup for ek0p here. That is really not helping out at all.
That's dreadful.
Yeah. I mean, he wanted to see something like Nourish or like even like a Jade Behemoth or something to just stall a little bit longer, but this is looking rough.
He's got to kill the Flame Wreath.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to trade
Well,
both of the smaller minions in.
Yeah, he does have an option for like value trading over the Totem Golem and then value trading over the Searing Totem, taking the hit from the Flame Wreath and then trying to recover it the next turn. But I think it's way too much
Yeah,
to
you
sacrifice.
just take and
3,
that's
4,
pretty
5, 6, 7,
nice
8. That's going to set ek0p to 2 and 0 cards in hand. I don't even think Deathwing is needed this game. It's looking like the trump card.
Yeah, ek0p's gonna need a miracle. Could do with a Deathwing of his own.
Yeah, I don't even think Ancient of...
Rips Deathwing. Whoa, swipe.
Swipe is pretty huge.
Yeah, that would kill everything except the Flame.
There are 2 swipes left.
How about Aya Black?
And that is not it. And that's gonna be game.
Yeah, and Amaz answering to the Druid deck with his Aggro Shaman.
Yeah, but now what? How does this open it up for ek0p? You know, he's got Priest and he's got Rogue.
I'm
to fight
liking
against
that
Shaman.
Priest. I'm liking that Priest. It's had a good win rate. But you never know. A lot of these Shamans have been getting life tap out of Finley, and that really swings the matchup, in my opinion, towards the Shaman. So we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah.
Pretty sad we didn't get to see the Deathwing, but
Oh, we got to see it. Yeah, we got to see it. Yeah. We're on the cool side. ek0p's the only one shrouded in mystery.
And he does decide to go with the Priest, the Dragon
Wow.
Priest, versus the Aggro Shaman.
And this opening hand for
Yeah.
Amaz is heat.
yeah.
And on
don't
ek0p's
even-
side, not looking too good.
I
No
don't-
turn 1, no turn 2, really. So
I don't even know. Well, the Shadow of Pain, I think, is welcome in the
good.
event that you see Totem
Yeah.
Golem.
Yes.
And Amaz is going to throw back the Spirit Claws and Jade Lightning.
Ooh,
Yeah.
there is a Totem
there's
Golem.
a Totem Golem. So
I mean, you're always extremely happy Shadow of Painting a Totem Golem.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah.
How often is the Shadow Word paying a small-time Buccaneer, though?
Yeah,
Fairly
a lot of the time.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like he's probably thinking, I'm going to Shadow Word paint the Buccaneer. Or are you ever thinking about not doing it to play around Totem Golem? I don't think you are, right?
I think maybe in his mind he says, you know, if Amaz had a lot of shamans would coin out the Totem Golem there, so Amaz choosing not to kind of maybe tells ek0p that he doesn't have it, and ek0p decides to use the Shadow Word Pain on this small-time Buccaneer.
Yeah, and that's
Kind of gets punished by it too.
really
Yeah.
painful for ek0p. He's got these 2/3 drops. That,
And I think you have to drop. I don't even know if you go with the. I
think I like the
so
brand.
tough. Yeah, it's so tough.
Brand is like just, I don't feel like it's representing very much in your hand, and it's kind of serving the same purpose as the Cabal Talon Priest, but
Yeah.
the Cabal Talon Priest maybe comes down with the Northshire
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's true.
it doesn't currently have a dragon to activate that Guardian.
Yeah, ek0p's really hoping that he top picks a couple dragons off the top here.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot for Amaz here, too, because all of his plays just don't look like they play super strong versus this. So getting the Spell Power Totem is pretty significant here.
Extremely significant.
Yeah, and
Like
it's just-
all of the cards in his hand synergize with the spell damage.
Is he using the patches?
Yeah, what do you think about that over the lightning bolt?
Yeah, I'm thinking over the Totem Golem. Like, he just could keep the patches on board here.
Yeah,
I'm a little surprised by that.
and it's so tough for. That's one of the problems with the Spell Power Totem roll. It's so tough for the priest to deal with the 0/2 totem. It's just going to stick around, and yeah, these Spirit Claws are going to get so much value for the next 5 turns.
This is looking sick.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, ek0p now has a lot of health on board. He can trade these off, and then he has Holy Nova to follow up. He does have the Dragon to also activate the Corruptor, so... Yeah, he's not in the worst position.
I mean, that thing's got to die now.
Yeah, Northshire dies. He's got the Lightning Bolt for the 3/4, so...
Wow.
Amaz, you know, playing it slow, controlling the board, definitely what you want to do in this matchup, and ek0p kind of on the heels here.
Spell damage totem alone has had a huge impact.
Spell
already.
and the healing, too, so the Corruptor play shut off.
Still no Dragon for this Guardian, so he's got to decide, am I going to Corruptor, am I going to Nova? Nova seems pretty terrible. So,
Power Totem.
I think he would.
Yeah.
I think that's actually the best play.
Pulls 2 power off the
I
board.
mean, would you ever hit the Tome Golem just trying to set up for a Nova next turn?
I don't think so.
No?
Yeah, I like this play.
Okay.
Maelstrom Portal plays so strong against you when they have the spell power
Yeah.
because they just get to whack the Spirit Claws into it. The key here is that Amaz has been able to stick a Totem Golem and start driving the action, and that has cost ek0p some resources. And every single time he has to use something and doesn't benefit from it, that's a +1 for Amaz.
Yeah, and this is a tough turn here. You know, you want to keep, you know, you want to preserve your board. You want to stay ahead on board on the Dragon
Yeah,
Priest.
I
And
like
I like
this
this play a
play,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah, this
I
is
agree.
definitely what you want to do. You want to preserve that Totem Golem.
Use your burn on minions, use your minions to go
3/3
phase.
for it. Coupling Tunnel Trog with Lava Burst or Feral Spirit is just so good.
So powerful.
ek0p really wants a top deck because this Nova is looking terrible right now. The Shadow of Death is doing nothing
If
right now.
Amaz is going to think about this Spirit Claw attack, by the way, he should have waited until he did anything to make this play, because
completely agree.
when he waits that long, he's kind of telling ek0p, I have another weapon in my hand right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hesitation there is not something you want to tell your opponent.
Oh, has to play a 3/4.
He doesn't have to.
Would you ever just drop the Guardian?
I think you have to save the Dragon just
Yeah,
for
I agree.
Blackwing Corruptor top decks.
His hand is just
Second
looking
Twilight
so
Guardian.
bad. I'm curious if he's supposed to drop the Cabal Talon Priest with the Northshire earlier on.
I mean, it was either that or Twilight Guardian.
I don't really know. I mean, just all his plays look so miserable.
I mean, ek0p wants the Maz to drop a 7/7 here just so he has something to do with his hand. He's probably... Oof. Another spell damage.
I think I like playing around Holy Nova by just phase tanking in Maelstrom. I don't know how much value the Maelstrom's going to get in this matchup.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely face tanking here.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 2 extra weapons in hand if we're in Amaz's spot. So
The question becomes, do you want to trade a minion in to play around Holy Nova?
Yeah, I
or
think
do
you definitely want to play.
Nova?
Like, you're in
Yeah.
such a good position that you definitely want to play
just
around.
Maelstrom. Maelstrom's
Yeah.
so easy here.
Yeah.
He is thinking about using the Totem Golem and trading up the Tunnel Trog, I think, though. Or maybe using the Totem Golem and the Spirit Claws.
It's so good, though. 4/3.
I
So
mean,
hard for Priest to deal with a 4-attack minion.
ek0p's been developing so slow this game.
Yeah.
I feel like Maelstrom Portal is just, it's never doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this a lot. This is definitely the, play around the Holy Nova action. I like it a lot. And ek0p again, 1 dragon in hand. There he goes. So he does have activation now on the Twilight Guardian, but how much does it really do? I mean, there's the second. We see the second Spirit Clause, so we know
It's
that
just a 3/4 on board
Yeah.
is the problem.
the 3/4 and the second Spirit Clause just deals with it so easily.
Yeah, I mean, you can play the Guardian expecting the Golem to go into it, trying to set up for a Nova next turn.
If he doesn't,
but-
my problem with this too is that if he plays the Azure Drake here and he doesn't end up drawing a dragon, that's a good one.
Ooh, that's pretty nice. What are you looking for here? Like a second Twilight Guardian would be
I'd
amazing?
imagine Guardians,
Yeah.
Guardians.
No Guardians.
Ugh.
Hungry Dragon.
Well, if the Azure Drake lives, you have the Holy Nova, and a lot of the one drops are going to die the Holy Nova anyway. I think the Hungry Dragon.
Yeah,
has
I
some
actually
merit.
like it
Yeah.
because you can combine it on turn 9, go Hungry Dragon into Nova on 9. It's pretty nice.
I mean, what's the Cro-Magus doing?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the Twilight
Not
Drake
doing
is going to
much.
be really small. It's going to be like a 4/4 with his
Yep.
current hand. It's,
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
4/4
dies to Jade
sometimes
Lightning.
is better than the 5/6 and give your opponent something though. So
Yeah,
that's
it's a fair point.
oh
Huge.
geez. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 damage. Yeah, but
Not
he's-
quite enough yet.
The
So
positioning is really awkward here too. Like having the Tunnel Trog inside the Healing Totem means that he can't just Flame Tongue and clear this Azure Drake up really cleanly.
Yeah, you'd love to just sacrifice the 2
Yeah,
totems.
and this is the position. This is the importance of that positioning. Like every turn needs to be done meticulously to get to these points.
Yeah,
Like
and
you
you-
could have very
yeah.
easily positioned that Tunnel Trog wherever he wanted it to be.
did he play that to the right of the
Yeah.
Healing Totem? Yeah.
Yeah, and he definitely needs to kill the Azure Drake. Like, there's no way you're leaving that Azure Drake.
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
want to leave yourself up to Nova, so he's
Yeah.
going to have to trade something into it.
I imagine it's going to be Healing Totem and probably Jade or Spirit Claw.
Yeah, he wants to clean the Drake up. You know, obviously play around a Holy Nova for 3 damage, but at the same time, he wants to set up lethal over 2 turns. So it's kind of what's going on through his mind right now. You know, how do I set up this lethal over these next couple turns here?
Yeah, this gives him the Totem Golem as well. Yep.
Yeah.
That is a lot of damage.
Ooh, not enough. That is.
That's not saving him here, right?
Twilight Guardian with Shadow or Pain. Is that even enough?
He needs a miracle.
No.
Yeah, Holy Nova doesn't do it, so it's Twilight Guardian and Shadow or Pain. Does that remove enough? That removes 4. No.
No, it doesn't do it. There's no.
Yeah, I don't see a way out of this. He needed the Azure Drake to live.
And I'm starting to question whether this matchup is even Aggro Shaman. I mean,
Well,
Dragon Priest favored.
Ecop's hand is pretty miserable.
Yeah.
No turn
Yeah.
1, no turn
But
2.
it seems to happen a lot. I mean, nowadays that Aggro Shamans are playing so many 1-drops and so many
we
2-drops.
also saw Ecop Shadow or Pain the Buccaneer on turn 2.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, how much damage can he take from the Buccaneer before he's safe? I mean, Amaz has to play a weapon if he's doing that. He's playing his weapon. He's not really developing as much.
Yeah, I mean, in this matchup,
So maybe some decision making could have
Yeah, I mean,
changed
he played the Shadow or
course of this
Pain
game.
really quick.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the Shadow or Pain was bad, but he had plenty of time to think about it.
Yeah. Sometimes it feels like you're really reliant on that early Twilight Whelp or Wormrest Agent though to like
Yeah,
fend
so
off.
he's not here. The thing is, he's not dead this turn. So he has cleaned this up and isolated the Flame Tongue next to the Totem Golem here. So Amaz does need a spell power roll to win here. So he's 25% to win immediately.
Doesn't get it.
Doesn't get it. So yeah, ECOP finding a line that keeps him alive.
So Amaz
So-
worried about Holy Nova here.
Uh,
I think if he is, you get that Jade Claw online and start hitting.
I mean, yeah, you
Yeah, I
got
think
2
you just
Jade
go
Claws
to-
in your hand.
Yep,
Yeah.
let's go.
I say, you know, start the race now. I mean,
Definitely.
he's got 2 Lava Bursts in his deck. He's got 2 Jade Lightnings, 2 Lightning Bolts.
Yeah, I mean, you have 4 charges of Jade Claws. There's no way this game's going to go another 4 turns.
Yeah.
You just get that 2 damage in.
Down to 1.
And second Holy Nova is the only way to.
Oh,
Ooh.
this is
No.
that it? No, that's
Not even close.
But does this with Shadow or Death, does that... It does
4,
close up.
5. Oh yeah, that does
Yeah.
keep him alive.
Yeah, on
3,
1.
4, 5, 6, and he's
Now there's 6 burn spells remaining in the deck, so, you know, eventually he's going to top
Saucy
deck one of them.
deckhand.
That's not one.
Oh.
well. The
That's
Shadow
a-
or Death just got used.
Both got used in these past 2 turns,
Yeah.
so there's no better feeling than dropping a 7/7 into a Dragon Priest that has no Shadow or Deaths remaining.
Yep, let's go ahead and drop the full Monty here. Now, that being said, yeah, this even plays around the Deathwing.
Yeah.
Like, now there's probably
Yeah.
Historian into, and I was like, eyes at 1.
Another taunt? It's not going to do it, though.
yeah.
Checkmate.
So ek0p falling to Amaz's Aggro Shaman.
Flame
Going on
Tongue
a tear
Totem.
here. Yeah.
So good versus Priest.
Spell Power Totem, Spirit Claws, still good
Yeah.
cards.
Who knew?
Yeah. And ek0p has, let's see, he's got his Rogue and his Warrior remaining.
Yep. And the Rogue, I'm not so sure about that one against the Shaman build. And the Warrior, nah.
Yeah. Is it Pirate or
Yeah,
Dragon?
he's pure Pirates.
Pure
with
Pirates,
Royal
Pirates,
Strikes.
yeah. And that's one thing we were talking about. You know, if ek0p could somehow get this Warrior past the Shaman, you know, the rest of the matchups look great for him. But, you know, can he do it? Because Amaz has been drawing pretty well with the Shaman, so.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a bad spot, I guess you just have to go for it, right?
Yeah. Definitely fares better than the Rogue list does.
Yeah,
Here we
decides
go.
to go for it. Here we go.
This is the deck that ek0p took out Forsen with as well. He was down to his last leg and needed Mortal Strike and Mortal Strike only to win, and drew it and knocked Forsen out.
Pirates everywhere.
Yeah, he's going to be looking for an early start. You definitely want to. It's a board battle, so you know those first 3 to 4 turns kind of decide the game in this matchup. So both players are going to be looking for their early openings.
See ek0p just shaking his head, and Amaz's hand is primed.
Yeah, I mean, ek0p had
Yeah.
the 2-drop, the 2-mana
Oh,
Pirate,
wow.
and decided to
Gosh.
drop it.
Yeah, Amaz is very good at drawing the Totem Golem and the Jade Claws combo.
Well, I mean, he's also got the Maelstrom Portal and Spirit Claws,
Yeah.
and the Turtle Chug, and
Pirates
like,
pull the patches. And
just every card in the deck matches up so well versus Pirates, and that's what makes this such a tough matchup for Pirates. Is all the Shaman's cards are matching up in a way that they can play cleanup work, and then as soon as you skip a turn, they turn on the heat.
7/7,
and then,
boom.
And then they have stabilization tools. They always have the chance to roll Taunt Totem. They can
Feral Spirit is amazing.
Yeah.
so many
Feral
good
Spirits.
cards. Like ek0p has to get control of the board basically with a Frothing Berserker out.
Yeah.
And there's the 7/7. So Amaz kind of has his
Amaz is in
action
charge
plan
now.
of just cleaning the board up and then developing this 7/7 to.
Yep. Nice sequencing as well, making sure you attack with that
Yeah.
South Sea deckhand first. It does not gain charge if it hits play with a weapon. It has charge if you have a weapon. So it's a mistake I have fallen victim to a few times.
Sure. I mean, Amaz does not have a way of clearing up this.
Yeah.
Nothing right now.
Honestly, Amaz need to stop and think about this turn
Yeah.
because there's a lot going on in this specific one.
And look at this. If ek0p chooses to trade the 4/3 into the 3/4,
Yeah.
Amaz again has no answer to this
Well,
frothing next turn.
yeah, and
being overloaded.
I think he's hoping that that turn was so quick. Like you
Yeah.
have 2 Jade Lightnings in hand.
You
I
have
just don't
3
really see
4
it.
mana cards in your hand, and
Yeah.
you're overloading yourself.
And totem ups they're like armor ups in this matchup. It's like totems need to be cleared at some
yeah,
point.
yeah, no, I completely agree.
And ek0p going for the full value here, and Maelstrom Portal, if that's the case, is going to wipe this out. I think I like going face here if I'm ek0p.
Yeah, I mean, if Maelstrom is in hand, get the 4 damage in while you can.
Yeah.
You know?
Take out the Totem Golem, but the Totem Golem is not presenting any threat to you right now. Push that 4.
I guess maybe Flame Tongue Totem is a consideration, but in this match,
You got Kor'kron on board
Yeah,
then.
I mean, your hand is just composed of damage right now.
Yeah, so Amaz
He's got
getting
16 in
rewarded.
hand, so he needs to find a way to get 11 more damage out of this. The Kor'kron, just the Frothing Berserker alone is representing 4 of that, so then he needs to find 7 more damage. When he trades into the Totem Golem, now he has to find, like, he'd be 3 damage off lethal right now.
I do like Amaz using the Maelstrom Portal that he top decked rather than the one that he had. And you can see that ek0p was
ek0p,
very frustrated by
yeah.
it. Definitely playing the mind game approach. And yeah, Amaz dropping the one card that he knows Pirate Warriors cannot deal with. 7/7.
And for ek0p, this is honestly a matter of finding the damage. So I think he's this is 9 coming in. This will drop Amaz down to 13. He's got 6 more from Fiery War Axe. That'll drop Amaz down to 7. Missing that damage is actually the difference between Mortal Strike being lethal when ek0p's at 12
yeah.
or less, or
Oh, yeah.
not. Like that attack into the Totem Golem, I think, is a blunder.
It's huge. Yeah, it could definitely be game costing. So we'll see if it ends up mattering. You know, we don't see any taunts in Amaz's hand. So as of now, ek0p's going to be able to connect the face with these weapons.
Yeah, and Amaz right now needs to count how much of an impact the actual 1 damage from the Timberwolf can make over the next couple turns, because he's got to kill ek0p as quickly as possible and ideally stay out of Mortal Strike range.
Yeah.
So I think the totems do start becoming important.
Yeah, I mean, if you find 1 taunt totem, that's a massive deal.
It could stop 5 damage.
But
from
drawing
that
cards are
armor.
also important because of Feral
That is
Spirits.
true, yeah.
I don't know if I like the Blood Mage over Totem Roll. I mean, I guess he did the math here. So how much is Jade Lightning next turn? I don't see lethal on board yet.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plus
11 plus
6.
5 is a little bit short.
Oh, South Sea deckhand. It's got to get in there.
Yeah, a little bit of damage.
And if Amaz doesn't roll Taunt next turn, I mean, Leroy's enough.
He needs to get the South Sea Deckhand in there.
Yeah, you
Oh,
have to.
wait. Can he bluff
Ooh.
Mortal Strike with this? And
Yeah.
have ek0p and have Amaz maybe give him an extra turn because of that. Like, then use the South Sea Deckhand to trade off something and find a way out of it.
I really like the
mean-
Amaz going. If he went Totem last turn, he has an extra % chance to get this Taunt this turn. And now it comes down to a top deck on ek0p's side.
I mean, that's a huge deal. Like, if Amaz is worried about the Mortal Strike,
And can Amaz set it up so that... Okay, so can Amaz set it up? I think you play around Mortal Strike.
so you just put him to 13 here. Like, if he wants
Yeah,
to Mortal Strike,
I don't
he has
think
to hit
you
the
go all
weapon
in.
Yeah, I like this.
Oh, no.
Amaz disagrees.
Mortal Strike, Leroy. Leroy
oh my
Jenkins
God,
gets
it's
Oh my
drawn.
God.
Leroy, and that is
I
game.
really think that Amaz
That
should have
is-
been using his hero power a lot
That
more
is
this game.
huge. I mean, definitely the
I
Thal
don't
loss
know,
over the hero
man.
power was definitely
I think
questionable.
the game was...
And even with the frothing trade in at the Tome Golem, still has enough damage.
And ek0p's kind of flabbergasted because he was definitely far behind for a lot of this game. And
I mean, Pirate just seems to be like, it's like his fate
yeah,
is on his side in this tournament. That's 2 times he's needed to draw lethal.
Yeah, and
a
ek0p,
significant amount.
this
for the
game was
lethal.
important as well.
It was
if ek0p
huge.
hadn't won this game,
if we look
he
at
would be in a
Amaz's
terrible
Amaz's remaining decks, he has Druid and he has Rogue. And no, he's got the Rogue lost, right? Yeah, the Rogue
Yeah.
lost. So he's got Druid and he's got Reno Warlock. Both matchups that, don't exactly match up great against, Pirate Warrior. So
Yeah. Kun Druid can have some really explosive turns versus this deck, and
Yeah.
once it kind of passes the hump, it's really good. I mean, Ancients of War are a big shutdown at times.
yeah.
If you can get that, if you can survive that long, I mean, this is a pretty juicy.
Yeah,
hand
sometimes
for Amaz.
making it to turn 7 is a tough task.
Yep, indeed. And ek0p certainly going to hold on to the small-time Buccaneer, is deliberating over the upgrade, I believe.
Yeah,
But with
I
no
like
weapon in
tossing
hand.
it. Yeah.
I mean, Amaz looks like he has the early tools to survive to the later taunts. The Wild Growth, the Innovate. You're very happy if you're Amaz right now.
The major issue is the weapon damage. The weapon damage is largely uncontested from Amaz's side. So when that happens and ek0p's got Fiery War Axe, and he starts on Heroic Strike, and he has this kind of turn, I mean, this is a lot of damage.
Yeah. It's almost scary to play Wild Growth next turn. You see all that damage coming in.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I've actually talked to some players that, like Just Saying, for instance, he said he pitches away Wild Growth in this matchup.
Wow.
It's one of those things where the innervates are kind of more important than the Wild Growth are.
Yep.
So you're
Living
purely
Roots,
looking.
Wrath,
Yeah,
Living Roots,
Wrath,
those
Living
sorts of
Roots,
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, ek0p absolutely should be dropping the Fiery War
Oh,
Axe
yeah.
here, too.
I mean,
His-
you have a second one in hand.
His curve never justifies trying to get max damage out of this this Rusty Hook. I mean, if you look at his hand, it's 4 turns of weapon swings. Heroic Strike, Leroy Jenkins, turn the heat on.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what the contemplation is. Hero power would not be the...
Well, he wants to use the Rusty Hook is what he wants to do, but
Yeah.
just giddy up.
Yeah, get in there.
I mean, you have upgrades coming in. You have Arcanite Reapers coming
You
in.
have a second Fiery War Axe.
Yeah,
Like,
you have a second
that 2
Fiery War
damage
Axe.
is not worth the delay.
And look at this. 20 health on turn 4.
Yeah, these Raven Idols could be really important, though.
Yeah.
You're obviously looking for the Feral Rage, the Healing Touch.
I'm thinking that Hero Power is probably slated this turn, Wrath alongside Hero Power, but the problem is, if he runs in a Frothing Berserker, how's he getting out of it? And I think that's just something he's going to have to deal with when it comes down to it.
Yeah, it goes with the Raven Idol. Ooh.
Well, second Innervate's pretty good.
I mean, they're all okay. This
Yeah,
is actually
they're
a
all
difficult
okay.
decision.
With the Gadgets in, I think you need the second Innervate, though.
But if you don't have an answer to the Frothing next turn, would you ever consider the Wrath?
That's probably why he's going for the second Raven Idol here.
Ooh,
Swipe
is
is not,
also-
Swipe is not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see the other two being too strong.
So no health gain, which is obviously disappointing, but lots of clears. Goes with the Innovate Wrath.
Wow.
Swipe. Wow,
So
I'm
this
surprised.
will answer Frothing. It'll answer Cultist. It'll answer. Yeah, both those are like really big answers.
And there's the upgrade. So, I mean, there's not much decision making for ek0p. He's got weapons and he's got Leroy.
Yeah,
So-
the big risk here is dropping this other Fiery War Axe and playing the upgrade. I think he has the obvious read that there's no ooze here. But this is certainly a turn where ek0p's going, please don't ooze, please don't ooze, please don't ooze, please don't ooze.
Yeah, I mean, I think ek0p's seen enough of Amaz's match at this point to kind of figure out the 30 cards in his deck. So he's pretty confident that there's no weapon removal in the deck, so he decides to just drop the upgrade there on the second Morax.
Yeah, I feel like Amaz has to go for the Auctioneer here.
Yeah,
You know-
last turn I think I was in favor of the Wrath on the Buccaneer, but I can see the merit to the swipe because he wants to shut off the Cultist turn.
Yeah.
Cultist would have been lights out.
Yeah.
I like the Auctioneer this turn too, just because I think he's running 2 Druid of the Claws, so he gets an extra, let's see.
Just Auctioneer, Innervate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Innervate, Auctioneer, and then Living Roots.
Yeah, and then
Make
he'll
the
have,
1/1s.
he'll have next turn as well. Next turn's draw to get another chance
Yeah,
at
I
Druid
like
of the
it.
Claw.
Absorbs 4 points of damage.
Do you think
No,
ECOP
I don't like this.
It's just too slow. It's just, you have to do something.
I mean, Amaz just has to stabilize. And so when that's happening, if he goes Auctioneer or he goes Innervate Auctioneer to Living Roots, he draws a card.
Yeah.
He gets the 4/4 on board, gets the 2 1/1s, and starts to draw. And so when ECOP has Core Chrono Elite, you have Wrath for that. And you could even contemplate drawing a card from it. So that way you could find Feral Rages, so you can find Ancient of War. But I don't mind this way either. Like, this does give him the Gadgets and Innervate Wrath on the following turn.
Yeah, he definitely gets more draw this way, and the Wrath is definitely a good answer to this 6-3.
And
I'm
I think
Heroic
you
Strike.
get the Heroic Strike here, yeah. I mean, you set up lethal for turn 5 Leroy, so I don't see another choice here besides using the Heroic Strike.
It's going to drop him 10, and then you have 4 from the Axe plus the Leroy. So that would force Amaz to have hero power in here as well, even in the event that he can take out the Bloodsail Raider here.
Yeah.
So ECOP pushing all in, and Amaz draws Ancient of War.
Oh, that is huge.
But the thing about it
he
is,
doesn't go for
if
it.
he drops Ancient of War here, it's dead to board, and I'm not sure he's willing to do that. Feral Rage gets drawn, and he's not anticipating Leroy from hand.
Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
play around. I mean, it's the only card that kills him for 5 mana, but
Oh my goodness.
oof.
I mean, Amaz is thinking about going for the cycle here.
It's not going to matter.
Yeah, I mean, he does have another Innervate left, so he could draw into Innervate
Oh,
here.
you're right.
Yeah.
Innervate the hero power.
Innervate the Hero Power is the only way.
Imagine if he stabilizes at 1.
That would actually
I
be
mean, his
insane.
hand looks pretty good to stabilize past that.
Yeah,
point.
like one more turn, and you're in a great position. You have the big taunt. You have
But look at this, guys. I mean, if Amaz chose to use the gadgets, the Innervate, Gadgets, and Living Roots, he would have drawn the Ancient of War.
And we have Feral Rage right now.
Yeah, he would have had Feral Rage to use
Wild
on this
growth.
turn.
Feral Rage not going to be enough. ECOP going to squeak by in this game with exact lethal on turn 5.
Yeah.
Warrior coming through again.
And
Oh,
it's-
that's like
wow.
That's like Captain Greenskin out of nowhere.
And this is how the matchup goes. You know, it's great to have 2 Ancient of Wars in your deck, but do you ever make it to the mana, the turn 7 to play the Ancient of Wars? Not always. You know, as we see here, ECOP rather, having turn 5 lethal with his Pirate Warrior.
And that's the difference between the Auctioneer absorbing 4 points of damage and not. You know,
Yeah.
if ECOP ignores the Auctioneer, that is a huge amount of disrespect to the power of that card in this matchup. Amaz finds a single Feral Rage, recovers that game. So ECOP would have attacked into that Auctioneer on that following turn, and then Amaz would have just drawn the Feral Rage. Then when he draws Feral Rage, gain 8 life, go right into Ancient of War, maybe he wins.
Exactly. And Amaz's final deck, his Reno Warlock. He's had a good win rate with this deck this tournament. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, he started out 5-0 with Kun Druid,
Yeah.
and then since then he's just put up great numbers with the
With the
Reno
Reno
Warlock.
yeah, to close things out. Yeah, so he does have a good opening here. He's got the Mistress, he's got the Earthen Farseer, so there are some good healing tools in his hand right now.
Tell you else he's got a good opener though. ECOP.
ECOP, yeah. He does have a knack for drawing the small-time Buccaneer.
War X will answer this very nicely.
Yeah, the Aim Gang boss is great in contesting the early board against the aggressive decks, so.
Gosh, upgrade's so good.
Yeah.
It's just 1 mana, 4 damage. Man, that card's great.
Looking at Amaz's hand here, does he coin out a 3-drop? It's so scary to waste the coin against a Pirate Warrior because it's so vital to have that coin for, turn 5 Reno.
Yeah.
I mean, the Aim Gang
like
boss
you
is just
have
so good here.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, you can't let this small-time Buccaneer go and
The
contest.
problem is there's Cultist and there's Upgrade
Yeah.
that answer this really well.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And this is a clear upgrade turn.
Yeah.
This is sick. I guess the next question is, do you trade in the Buccaneer or do you trade over the patches or do you trade it all?
Yeah, I mean, what we'll punish is by trading the Buccaneer, and I guess really only Mortal Coil. If he's got Demon Wrath, it's going to die anyway, so there is some consideration of trading the 3-2 into the 1-1, but at the same time, this matchup is so heavily reliant on killing the Reno before turn 6.
Yeah. I mean, the thing to look at is if Patches pushes for 1 and he gets the hit with the Buccaneer, then he gets the second hit with the Buccaneer, and he's gotten 7 damage out of that board. If he hits the Buccaneer into the 1-1 and then pushes the Patches, then he gets 4 damage the following turns. That means the Patches still needs to hit 2 more times to make up that difference. But when he's playing the South Sea Deckhand here as well, the next consideration is protecting the South Sea Deckhand alongside of that. So the extra 1-1s would contest that as well. So
Good point, yeah.
unless he's just going full face, I think he's trading this off and trading in the bucket.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if he went full face.
Yeah. So it's a question of does he think this board can...
Second-rate bruiser is a great reason to trade patches.
That's another reason as well, yeah.
Fantastic reason.
And you've got Korokron coming down next turn. You know, Mind Control Tech is a consideration. So a lot of different considerations for ek0p there.
Giddy up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're just going to take this Farseer out with the weapon.
And at this point, having the Fiery War Axe in hand means that you can get past second-rate bruiser pretty easily.
Yeah. I mean, you're always
He's
killing
thinking
the
about
Farseer.
going face, but
You
yeah.
wanna play around Shadow
Yeah, you got to
Flame,
play
right?
around Shadow Flame.
You also just got to play around it, attacking into your Korokron.
Oh,
wow.
Really important that he did kill
Yeah,
it
very,
off.
very important. And here's the problem. So in the Reno Warlock matchup, when you waste that coin, you know, if you don't have Demon Wrath, it's just so hard.
Soulfire's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was the option of Blast Crystal there, but it's
He's
losing
doing,
your mana
He's
at
doing
this
everything he
stage.
can to just control this
Wow,
damage.
upgrade gets drawn.
Oh, man.
That's going to be Fiery War Axe and probably push. So he pushes 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that's about as close to dead as you're going to get. Amaz is only on 5 mana, and I do not believe there is a way to stabilize through that.
Yeah, I mean, he's already used his Mistress. I don't think there's another 1-drop to Shadow Flame in the deck.
Yeah.
So, Hellfire.
I mean, even if he has Shadow Flame, he's at 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not enough, exactly. So,
I mean, the Mistress into Shadow Flame would be fantastic.
And that's going to do it.
Yeah.
There is no way for Amaz to come out of this one.
and yeah, as I feared for Amaz, you know, if that Warrior somehow got by the Shaman, it's just such a tough matchup for the rest of Amaz's decks and lineup. So, ek0p able to squeeze one out there with the Pirate Warrior.
Yeah, Pirate Warriors caught a lot of lineups off guard this weekend. I think that was a fantastic choice from a strategy aspect, where I think a lot of people underestimated just the pure raw damage potential of that deck and have not necessarily brought the tools to handle it correctly.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have bought Dragon Warrior, but the Pirate Warrior does what Dragon Warrior does a lot faster.
Yeah, I think the Dragon Warrior deck does fare really strong in that particular matchup, and if you have Shaman alongside of it, those are two fantastic tools to handle that build. But as we
ek0p
saw
decided
here,
to just ban it, yeah.
bans the
A
Warrior
lot of
away.
people came into this tournament saying, you know, it's a ban Reno or a ban Shaman tournament, and ek0p saying, you know what, I think Dragon Warrior is one of the stronger decks in the game. Let me choose to ban that instead, and it's kind of paid off for him.
Yep, indeed. The man of the hour, 4-2 victory over Amaz, and Pirate Warrior just continues to perform. ek0p, wow, what's going through your head, man?
Feeling good.
Four
Feeling good.
boys? It's good.
Feeling good.
So in the Druid game, was it the Druid game? Which is the one where he could have pushed? Oh, the Frothing Berserker. So playing against that position against the Shaman, if you push the Frothing Berserker to face, it's just 4 free damage, right?
Of course, technically it is for free damage, but there is a couple of scenarios where leaving the minion up is not beneficial. Like he can make he can get some value out of it by like flame tonguing it, if that's like an out for him. If there's Maelstrom Portal, I'm screwed either way. That's what I felt like. So therefore, I thought, yeah, I have to take the risk. This is an unfavorable matchup for me, after all. So I wasn't really expecting to win that one anyway, but I needed to win that one. Like I needed to take the risk with this matchup, and yeah, it didn't pay off in that situation. But ultimately, I came out on top in as the victor in this matchup. Yeah. So that was really important, a really important win, because the Rogue would have had a tough time as well, and I needed that Rogue against Druid and the Reno lock for sure. So
yeah,
good thing that the Warrior performed like expected.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been the whole weekend for you that way. Jackie Chan, is there anything in this matchup that stood out to you as exceptional?
You didn't get to see the Deathwing. In the
I heard loud noises. That's what I heard.
Yeah, that was a Deathwing.
Yeah, I figured as much. Like I heard super loud noises from you guys. So these soundproof headsets will only do that much, right?
Yeah,
so
it muffles the audibility of it in terms of discerning what the words are.
Yeah, but I figured out mulch. Okay, that's got to be something crazy.
I got to keep it quiet from now on. VOPS, what about you?
No, I just thought you played great. I was looking at the lineups, and I said if your Warrior could somehow sneak by that Shaman, that you'd be faring very well against his Reno and his Druid deck.
Yeah.
So it ended up working out for you,
Yeah,
and
exactly
you'll be
as
moving
predicted.
on to the semifinals here.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm going to be facing the winner of the next match, which is going to be Camlin versus wait, who was it again?
I'm not sure which one of the two matches is
Torque.
coming up.
Yeah, exactly. I could face Torque again, get my revenge on him.
Ooh. Is that what you're looking for? Are you rooting for a Torok win so you can do that?
Well, I felt like I was supposed to win the matchup versus Torok in the group phase. Ultimately, it didn't happen for reasons unknown.
Well,
I casted that one.
You heard it right here. ek0p wants revenge on Torok really bad. He's going to crush him. He hopes Torok wins. I didn't put any of those words.
We have the same
ek0p's
lineup
mouth.
actually. This like pretty much as pure of a mirror as it can get.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily run the same builds, but we run the same decks. So it could be an exciting one.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Congratulations on your 4-2 victory and good luck in the rest of the tournament. So that's going to wrap up our match 4 right now, but there's plenty more action to come. We are crowning a champion here today at SeatStory Cup. So don't go anywhere. More Hearthstone.